Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I will be comparing the Sentinel Peter B. Parker to your left to the Mafex Peter B. Parker to your right. Now obviously both of these figures are a bit older releases at this point, but recently Sentinel re-released their Peter B. Parker, and because I'm so excited about this figure and I'm so happy that I have it in my collection, I wanted to compare this guy with the AliExpress bootleg version, and that comparison video is already on the channel. If you haven't, go check it out. But I also wanted to compare it to the Mafex version, because Mafex recently kills it with their releases, and I feel like at this point these two releases are probably the best ones in terms of 6-inch Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. So I'll try to make this video as short as I can and just quickly compare the two. So in terms of articulation points and the way that the parts almost seemingly connect together, Sentinel did, at least in my opinion, Sentinel did a much better job. Mafex, on the other hand, the articulation points are kind of janky. You see how the shoulders look like the separation of the shoulder here from the rest of the body, while on Sentinel it's more flush. It's kind of all connected into a continued line, and same goes for the belly and the crotch piece, the way that it kind of gaps on the Mafex one, while it all looks much better and cleaner on the Sentinel one. Those are just some of the things that you immediately notice when you see these two guys standing together like this. And I have to say that the legs on the Mafex one are a little bit deformed. That is probably because those lower parts of the legs were in the packaging for so long, because this guy comes with alternate lower parts of the legs. So with a little bit of heat, I'm sure that I can fix that issue. So it's not a big deal. Now, when comparing the color, you can see that Mafex one is much darker and more vibrant, while Sentinel is toned down, especially the red parts of the suit. I'm not sure which one out of these two I prefer better. They both kind of look good to me. This is the back of both figures, and again, they both look good, but I must say that I'm not a fan of Mafex putting this Marvel copyright writing here on the back. That's something that I'm sure they could have hidden a bit better. And then when comparing the two heads side by side, you can see that they are really similar to each other. The difference is that Mafex used the darker color for their webbings, while the Sentinel went with shiny and more gold paint. Chest logo looks good on both of them. A kind of issue that I have with Mafex release is that red paint of the suit is not the same on all the parts of the body. So for example, red of the arms is a bit darker than red on the chest, and I'm not sure why that happened. But on the other side, as far as Sentinel goes, the red is the same on all the parts of the body. So I appreciate that kind of consistency. As far as the articulation goes, this is how much the head can go forward, this is how much it can go to the back, this is how much it can tilt to the side. Arms can go out a bit further on the Mafex one because of the way that they designed the shoulders and the fact that this figure has a butterfly joint. This is how far they can bend the elbows, this is how far they can crunch forward, and this is how far they can crunch back. This is how far out their legs can go, and you can see that Sentinel is much better here. This is how much they go back and forward, and this is how much they can bend in the knees. So as far as the articulation go, I would say that Sentinel takes it, because it has a bit better range of some articulation points, and that's even though the Mafex version has some of the articulation points that Sentinel doesn't. For example, butterfly joints, and that gives him a little bit of edge in terms of how much the arms can go up, but when you want to put those arms across his chest, it's practically the same thing as what you get with Sentinel. And then the other articulation point that Mafex has and that Sentinel doesn't is the drop down joint in the hips. But as you saw, the legs movement in terms of going out are inferior when compared to Sentinel. Now let's take a look at their accessories. Both of these guys come with a ton of accessories. So for example, Sentinel comes with one alternate masked head, and the Mafex one also comes with one alternate masked head, and both of these expressions are different and expressive, and I really love both of them. Mafex one has kind of squinting eyes, and Sentinel has wide open, surprised eyes, and both of them are great. It's unfortunate that they are not compatible compatible, because you can see that the peg hole of the Mafex head is much smaller than the one that we get with Sentinel. But again, I feel like both companies did a great job with these alternate heads. And then Sentinel gives you an unmasked Peter B. Parker head, and so does Mafex. And while Sentinel is much more expressive, like he is surprised, Mafex one is much more relaxed. But I feel like both companies still did a great job. And then they both give you another unmasked alternate head, and for Sentinel is the one that represents the scene from the movie when Peter B is licking his fingers after a meal, and Mafex gives you the half unmasked Peter B. Parker head with a serious face expression. The sculpt of the half mask is really nice. You can see how it's wrinkled here in the back. So again, both companies give you a really interesting alternate head sculpts. And then Sentinel gives you another head sculpt, but this time it's Peter Parker from the beginning of the movie. And so we have another option to make a different type of Spider-Man from different universe. They also do give you the alternate belly piece that is much more muscular, and you get an alternate crotch piece to go with that as well. While on the other side, Mafex gives you the unmasked mask that is meant to be held in Peter's hand. Here is a small peg hole, and he comes with an alternate hand that can hold this accessory. So again, both companies were creative and gave us something that the other one didn't. So there you go. Another thing that Mafex gives you and that Sentinel doesn't include in their release is this alternate neck piece that is half covered in Spidey's suit and the upper half is in that flesh tone. So Sentinel doesn't give us that. They give us few alternate unmasked heads, but they all go on a suited neck. This is a nice attention to details for Mafex. Mafex also includes the lower parts of the legs that are naked, uncovered. They also give you his naked feet and an alternate suited feet that have magnets. And then in terms of webs, both companies give you a nice selection of web effects. This is just one of them from Sentinel, and here is an example for Mafex. And I won't be going through all of the web effects that these companies give you. If you are interested in that, you can watch the reviews for each of these figures, but I just wanted to compare the design of these two. So Sentinel has a much more wax looking, half transparent plastic for the web, while Mafex went with a simple, fully white piece of plastic. So I'm not sure which one I prefer. Maybe I'm going more towards the Sentinel one, but Mafex one is good as well. And you can see that the design choices are different in terms of the way that they are connected to the hands. For Sentinel, they connected the web to the web shooting hand, while Mafex uses that loop that goes around the wrist, and so you can rotate it however you want together with the hand. Mafex also gives you another pair of alternate feet, but this time it's a boot and a sneaker, and this is for Peter B. Parker's hobo look, you know. For the alternate hands, Sentinel comes with 6 pairs of alternate hands, while the Mafex one comes with 9 pairs of interchangeable hands. Plus, both companies include a single hand that is holding a coffee mug, so that is great. So Mafex gives you 2 pairs of wall crawling hands, 1 pair with magnets and 1 without them, and then you get open hands, web shooting hands, gripping hands, mask holding hands, web holding hands, and fists. And then they also give you a slice of pizza, which is great. Sentinel doesn't give you any food accessories, while at the same time they do give you food holding hand, so that is a nice plus for Mafex. On the other hand, Sentinel gives you these expressive open hands, wall crawling hands, web holding hands, fisted or newspaper holding hands, web shooting hands, non-gloved hands, and both figures come with a pair of relaxed hands. But then Sentinel also gives you glasses, and this is a nice little accessory. But on the other hand, Mafex comes with soft goods, and I love this. You get his pants that are made of a nice elastic and stretchy material. But then you also get this beautiful coat that is nicely stitched up. Such a great job on this. You can see the way that they did the pockets, and then you get these little buttons that are all painted. And not only that, but this jacket is also wired. There is a wire here, but then also on both sides. So that means that the jacket is also posable, and that is something that I truly appreciate. Another good thing about this is that if you for some reason have both of these guys, you can use Mafex soft goods for your Sentinel Peter B. Parker. And then, if I already didn't mention this, Sentinel comes with newspapers accessory that you have to cut out from the instruction sheet and you have to fold it together. And both of these guys come with a stand, which is fantastic. And so there you go. That was my comparison between the Sentinel and the Mafex Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. If I would have to choose only one of these two guys, I would say that it would be a tough decision, a really tough decision, because even though in terms of the figure itself, just looking at both of these guys like this, I would choose Sentinel. But when we talk about the accessories, both of these guys come with a lot of stuff, and it's really hard to choose between the two of them. On the one hand, I really love the accessories that Sentinel comes with, but on the other hand, Mafex release has its own pluses. Both of these releases give you the option to have two different versions of Spidey, and that is just amazing, and that is why it's difficult for me to decide. All in all, I think that I would love to have a mix between these two. If Sentinel came with these soft goods accessories, for me that would probably be a deciding point. But I'm glad that I have both of them, and so in that way I can use some of the Mafex accessories for my Sentinel figure. So yeah, it's really hard to decide which one of these two guys is better in terms of the whole thing, the whole package and everything that comes with the figure. But now I would really love to hear you guys. What do you think about these two releases? If you could choose only one, which one out of these two would you choose? Let me know all of that down in the comments. Special thank you goes out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys for helping me to continue to make all of these videos for you. And to the rest of you guys, thank you all so much for watching my videos. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.